So the answer to this question, if you believe that these portals are traveling through the exact same fucking vector, or velocity, I'm sorry. If you believe that these share the same velocity, portal travels through 100 miles an hour and engulfs this dude, then the portal will spit him out at 100 miles per hour relative to the portal, but the portal will continue to move on at 100 miles per hour. So the guy will be sucked through the portal and then will come out floating in space, and the portal will continue on behind him at 100 miles per hour, would be the solution to this if you believe that the portals are tied together and function in the same way. If you believe that they're tethered to one another. If they're not tethered and they can do whatever, then the guy will enter the portal at 100 and then it'll be spit out of this orange one at 100, and then in whatever direction it is going, like that's it. How are I don't know. I feel like I've never had like a better understanding of something in my life and still had so much trouble explaining it. I don't understand. Have a pole half on the orange, half on the blue side. Push the orange portal. The pole is now coming out of the blue side with 50 kpm. What would happen to the pole when it's completely out of the blue side? It comes to a stop. Yeah, which is retarded. Okay. Can we be done with this? I have a physics degree. I'm gonna fucking kill myself, dude. All right. What do you have a physics degree in? What are you 4-year or what? What do we got? Oh, I need to give you talk power. Hold on. All right, hit me up, fam.
Hello?
What's up?
Is my mic okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I have a regular 4-year physics degree. I'm currently a PhD candidate in condensed matter physics.
Whoa, do you even have your master's yet?
Yeah, I do. I just don't have a PhD yet.
Well, then why would you say you've got a fucking 4-year when you could be bragging about a fucking master's, dog?
Because a master's is basically worthless.
Dog, listen, to the normies, I think master's sounds good. Okay, do you think I'm saying something that's very wrong about any of this?
No, I think what you're saying is generally correct. And that the thing you have to consider is relative velocity. And if you think portals work along absolutes, like an absolute reference frame, then
meaning the portals share the same velocity, like in example A, correct? That they
well, it's about how portals measure velocity that's going into them.
Oh, okay, sure.
So like if a portal measures the velocity of the cube relative to fixed points in space.
Oh, I would assume that a reasonable explanation or a reasonable assumption would be they're measuring the velocity relative to itself, because that's the only frame of reference the portal can measure a velocity to, right? Do you think that's a reasonable assumption?
Yeah. Well, okay. All physics that we know is based on relative velocity. Like people haven't considered things moving relative to absolute points in space.
Sure.
Like
well, except for the PhDs that I talked to earlier that believe in absolute directions where velocity doesn't matter. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. But so I think it's a reasonable assumption so far that the portal can only measure things the velocity in relevance or in relation to itself, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how there are a lot of physics that is based on velocity relative. Like things have physics with other things based on velocity relative to them.
Okay.
Not to fixed points in space.
In the examples, tell me if I'm using any fucking term wrong or saying anything wrong. You can cruise for me. I don't give a fuck. Tell me if I'm saying wrong, because I want to be right on this, okay? Were the examples that I were using earlier fair? Is it fair for me to say that if I slap my face and I were to ask specifically my hand or specifically my face, who hit who, that it's impossible for either one of those two things to determine that? Right? That to their
it depends what your perspective is, and they have different perspectives.
Okay.
There are lots of technical questions related to what's called the relativity of simultaneity. That is, how do simultaneous events work given different observers?
Sure.
But things will get really complicated and irrelevant.
Sure, I understand.
If we go down those roads.
So then, am I fair then in my earlier assumption? I'm just going through all these assumptions again. Am I fair in saying that in regards to things entering the orange portal, it does not matter what the speed of the portal is and what the speed of the ball is, because those two things will always be added to one another to determine the velocity at which the ball approaches the portal from the portal's point of view? Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, I think that, if what you're saying boils down to the portal sees things moving relative to it, and
Yeah,
not
okay.
things moving relative to fixed points
So
in
then,
space. Yeah.
so then, to give an example and go one step further, a cube is floating in space, and the portal flies at it at 100 miles per hour. Okay, and then in another example, the portal is sitting in space, and the cube flies at it at 100 miles per hour. For all intents and purposes, without any other tertiary interferences, those two things are exactly the same, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was in relativity, one of the things you'll learn is that there's no such thing as an absolute reference frame.
Sure, I agree.
Which is essentially what you're saying is that you have the reference frame of the portal and the reference frame of the cube, but you don't have like a quote unquote absolute right reference frame.
Because even our quote unquote absolute frame of reference on Earth isn't absolute because we're orbiting, we're spinning on an axis, orbiting the sun.
I'm not moving, but I'm not moving relative to the Earth.
Sure.
But you are moving relative to the sun. So like, there's no absolute right one, which is what they figured out in 1905. And if people were wondering, it's called the Michelson-Morley experiment.
Okay.
So that stuff goes back to like a long time ago. Like, people thought there was an ether and like the Earth moves around the ether and things like that.
Okay. So then, in the interpretation of these two portals, I'm going to talk through how I can justify A and B, and you can tell me if I get anything wrong, okay? You have the picture in front of you?
Yeah, I have the stream open.
So, my interpretation of how A would work is if the portals were tethered to one another in such a way that they have identical velocities, okay? Meaning they have the same speed and trajectory through space, okay? Exactly the same. So that means that if orange were to smash down onto the cube and then come to a sudden stop, what would happen at A is the cube would exit it at some speed and then it would float there and it would just stay exactly there. Is that an accurate depiction of what would happen with A, or do I need to explain it further? Or?
Yeah, I think so. The thing with this question is that, like, if you look into it a lot, since portals aren't real, like, you can come up with contradictions in how portals work.
Sure, that's why I'm under the assumption that they're tethered together in such a way that they have the same velocities, right?
Yeah.
And that there aren't any external, we're not imagining different gravities on both sides or different forces or friction or resistance or anything else. It's just a really basic physics 101 frictionless vacuum of bullshit with nothing else.
Yeah, sure.
So that's a fair interpretation, yeah, okay? So then my interpretation of B was, if the portals are not tethered together and they're in fact completely independent things, the only possible way things, now I understand I could get in trouble with that statement, but in my opinion, the only way things could move through them is if portal orange tells portal blue what entered it and at what speed, and then it would exit portal blue at exactly the same way. So if a ball flew into it, or if it flew into a ball at 100 miles per hour, it would necessarily shoot out of blue in regards to blue at 100 miles per hour, no matter how blue is traveling, right? Now, maybe blue is moving at 100 and whatever, but in reference to blue, it would shoot out at 100 miles an hour. Do you think that's a fair assumption?
Yeah, I think so. Because in that situation, the ball and the portal maintain their relative velocities, but even though the velocity of the ball to like a third observer might be different.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, that's it. So have I said anything that you've like disagreed with? I know I'm mixing up a couple terms sometimes, but for the most part, I have, this is like, I decently understand what's going on, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is not particularly hard, like any intro to relativity.
Yeah, that's what I figured, right? This isn't really that complicated.
Well, your
it's pretty.
chatters haven't taken intro physics. I mean, it's not.
Well, but even this is like it might not be intuitive, but like the concepts, we're not dealing with anything very complicated here, right? Like it's just the most complicated thing here is understanding a frame of reference, right?
But most people by intuition think that things move relative to fixed points in space.
Sure. So the most difficult part of this is a frame of reference thing, right?
Yeah, you have to get around it, and it's hard because you generally only ever have one frame of reference.
Sure.
And when you do a bunch of relativity calculations, like you'll sometimes find things that don't really make sense, even though they're physically true.
Sure.
Because you just got to the point where our intuition doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, because understanding a different frame of reference is very, like the guy throwing a baseball off the back of a truck would actually look really fucking weird in real life. Like it would look very strange.
Yeah, well,
right?
you can watch the Mythbusters video of it. It is very strange.
Okay, cool. Got it. I love you.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, yeah, so can we get chat flares for this shit? Because you guys just argue with autists for hours and like...
Where's my chat flare? That's the real question.
You have your own chat flare.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Wow, kill yourself.
Okay, listen. I'm gonna give you a chat flare, but you have to defend me when people come back on this, because people are gonna come back and say I was wrong on this the whole time, and I haven't been. Okay, so you have to defend me. So now you're gonna get a notable. Okay.
Oh, sick.
Unfucking
Thanks,
believable. All right, here you go. Whew. There it is, dude.
Holy shit, my chat refreshed on its own and everything.
God damn. Okay.
Does Brozel have notable for lifting, bro?
He's working on it.
Is memes too hard for that shit?
All right. Okay, I love you, buddy. I will talk to you later, okay?
Thanks.
Okay, fuck all of you guys. Put me in, I'll explain why you're wrong. You're also an idiot if that helps. The orange portal doesn't have to communicate anything. I'm done, dude. I got my fucking PhD candidate to defend me. All of you can go fuck yourselves. Destiny, please click.
We're gonna talk about this for like 2 minutes, okay?
I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking at. What is this? A portal racing along and it captures a blue thing and then... I don't even know. Nope, I'm done, dude. I think we've literally been arguing this for like 9 hours. This is NNN's fault. I want you all to know in chat. I wanted to ban this guy a long time ago, okay? Tethered portals have exactly opposite speeds because they are facing the opposite directions. Okay, where's the PhD physics guy? Listen, I believe that tethered portals would have the exact same speeds, but they would have the exact opposite velocities. So a portal moving along at 500 meters per second might have a speed of 500 meters per second, and the other portal would have a speed of 500 meters per second. However, the velocity on one would be 500 meters per second in some direction, and the velocity in the other would be negative 500 meters per second in that same direction, right? It would be the thing, right? Okay, at 15:38 UTC, NNN said, "I'll see if I can bait Destiny into going into it before I explain it that much. Just give me a second. Going to try and bait Destiny into sharing his thoughts on this, waiting for the game to end." So this is all his fault, okay? I don't know how many hours ago this was. This was about 9 hours ago. Holy shit. I feel like I could like go back to school and take like an intro to anything class and then come here and then open the textbook and read out like an exact example, and the chat would argue about it for 12 hours about how wrong it was.
Hey Density, I have a women's studies degree. Get me in there and I can explain the portal thing to you. Peppy. TFW Joel Wield now has to edit a 9-hour video. Destiny, I hope you get a gun and try to make a portal in your skull. Let's see if the bullet will keep flying at the same speed.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me explain this. So the problem is how you define how the portal works, right? That's the only confusing part of this. This isn't even like a hard question, actually. This is just asking you how portals work. So like all of this comes down to the definition of what is a portal. If the portal works like a second physical world or whatever, where all it does is moves you into like another physical world, then the answer has to be A. Because if you look at this scenario, if you imagine that there's no portal here and it's just a circle, then as soon as it smashes down onto the thing, the box is just going to sit there. It's not going to do anything, right? That's all it's going to do is it's just going to sit there. It's not going to do anything, which would give you A. But if the portal transfers like relative like momentum or relative whatever based on the things entering, then I guess it could be B. But like this is just a question of how the portal works. This isn't a hard question. It's just a question of how, and then you think that you're arguing over physics, but you're really just arguing over how the portal works, I think. Like if you were holding a hula hoop ring and you threw a baseball as fast as you could into the hula hoop, and the hula hoop was like a portal, then obviously the baseball coming out is being would be thrown out. But is it being thrown out because it's transferring, because it's moving into another world like the same way as if it were going right through? Or is it that the portal is taking all of the whatever forces were involved and then transferring them over there and spinning it right as like a separate thing? Because if that were true, if you were holding a baseball and then you took the hula hoop and then you smashed it down as fast as you could, right? The force acting in the portal or whatever is the same thing no matter which way is moving which way, right? It just depends on how it teleports it to the other portal, right? So I think this is just a question of how the portal works. It's not a question of Like, how well do you know physics or science? It's just defining how the portals work. So I think that I guess is probably the most reasonable answer, unless you believe that the portal is transferring like all the forces acting on the portal or whatever at the moment it transfers or whatever to be, right? I thought the idea of the portal was well defined in the game. When it's a speedy thing goes in, speedy thing comes out. The cube is not moving, doesn't have any reason to speedily exit the portal. Oh fuck, let's see how much of physics I remember that I can explain this. If you have a portal here and you throw a ball, can't you hold like Alt or something to make these perfect circles? Okay, if you've got a portal here and you throw a ball into the portal, do I have any physics majors in here? Oh, you only do it with... The orange platform coming down on it doesn't impart any force on the box whatsoever. So, like, that's not true. Like, fuck, I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything. If you have a surface and you throw a ball at 50, let's say that you throw this ball, let's say these things have the same mass, okay? Let's say that you throw this ball at 50 miles an hour into the surface, and then in the next experiment, you throw the surface at 50 miles an hour onto the ball. They both would exert the same amount of force, right? Into each other. Am I right or wrong on that? Can somebody tell me? Am I right or wrong? If you were to throw a ball into like a little circle pad and throw the circle pad into the ball, and you were to do each of those experiments at equal speeds, one time and then the next, both of them would exert the same force on each other, correct? That's true, right? Assuming they have the same mass and you throw them at the same speed. Hold on 1 second. I'm IP banning every single person that just said this was wrong. 1 sec. Okay. So here's what I'm saying, okay? If you've got some surface, you've got surface X and you've got ball Y or whatever, okay? If you throw this at, and say that these surfaces have the exact same mass, okay? These two objects have the same mass. If you throw this in this direction at some speed, and then you measure the force, okay? And then you throw this in some direction at the same speed, and hit the ball and you measure the force, it will be the same thing. Assuming these are the same mass and they're being thrown at the same way, or they've got the same mass, they're being thrown at the same speed, then the force measured between these two different throws, no matter which object is stationary, is going to be the exact same, right? That's what I'm trying to say. So what I'm saying is, if a portal works by you simply moving through the portal, and then the portal just does whatever moves through to the next thing, and that's it. It's just like stepping through a mirror or stepping through like a hula hoop, then that means that A is the correct answer, okay? But if the portal works by taking all of the measured forces of the object and then mirroring those measured forces onto the other end, then that would make B the correct answer, right? So the only thing this question is asking, this isn't an argument about physics, it's just an argument about how the portals work, and it's probably why portals aren't on moving surfaces in the video game, because they didn't want to answer that question or whatever, right? That's all I'm saying. This isn't a physics question, it's just a question of how do the portals work. That's the point that I'm trying to get across, I think, right? Am I wrong about any part of that explanation? The orange portal on the moving platform is like a hole. It doesn't add any force to the cube. Am I wrong? It depends on how the portal measures it, though, because all the portal sees from the perspective of the portal, it doesn't matter if there's a stationary object and it moves towards it at 50 miles an hour, or if the object is moving towards the portal at 50 miles an hour. The portal wouldn't care in that case. It doesn't matter if the portal's moving and the object's stationary, or if the object's moving, the portal's stationary. It just sees 50 miles an hour in and then 50 miles an hour out. That's all the portal sees from the perspective of the portal. You guys are getting really fucking hung up on, it's a portal, not a thing or whatever, blah. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. All that matters, hold on 1 second. All that matters is the perspective of the portal and how you define the portal. That's all that matters, is how you define the portal. Like, this is retarded. We're done talking about this. This is an argument on how you think the portal works, okay? The answer could be whatever the fuck you want it to be, and then you can pretend that you're arguing about some complicated physics thing when it's not. This is insanely fucking simple. It's just a question of how the portal works. Juaniero, it all depends on how you define the portal. That's it. If a portal exists on a moving plane, would there be a breeze? It all depends on how you define the portal. Holy shit. But we don't need to define the portal. The portal's mechanics are already defined in the game, and based on the... I don't know how the portal's answers are fucking... No, that's not even true! Because in the game, don't they specifically say that a portal can't go on a moving surface? So you're already wrong, Agadim. Kill yourself. It was a simple puzzle. If the first image is inverted, then it would be B, but it's not. But it doesn't matter if you invert things in physics. It doesn't... If this is going here at this, and this is going here at this, and they're all the fucking same and everything, like, force is force. It'll be defined the same way, unless there's, like, some... Unless there's some different confounding thing. In that picture, it doesn't matter what's moving, though. What, depending on how you define the portal. If the portal is just a hula hoop that you step through, then yeah, it'll just plop out the other end. But if the portal is seeing something come through and then it's defining the exact opposite or equal or whatever on the other portal, then it would be B. Like, that's it. I don't think there's any reason to be up this far. We should back up a little bit. Behind the car? I think it's fine.
Back up, back up.
Agadim, so you're saying that if the scenario existed following the rules of the game, but the scenario is already defined as impossible by the rules of the game, you understand how retarded your question is, right?
Seriously.
Who's upstairs? Is it Genji?
Genji.
Oh.
Genji's down.
Yeah, Genji jumped down.
Recharging barrier.
They're going around, I think.
Yeah, it looked like Reinhardt's moving around.
They're backside, backside. Genji on point. He's going upstairs.
Stop. Alright, we're done. We're done. This is way too big of a fucking aspie fucking bait. We're done. Really? No? No, that's there.
Visor activated.
Fucking Genji.
Okay, so then okay, so I get him. If what you're saying is true, then none of you guys need to be arguing about physics. It has nothing to do with physics. The only question is how you define the portal, right? Do you understand? That's all I'm trying to say. Whatever is true, it doesn't matter. All that matters is how you define the portal. That's it. That's literally it. So your answer just comes from inside the game. Like, that's where you look for your answer from. Like, oh, well, the game says this would happen, and that's it. There's no argument to be had about anything. It's not a question to think about. Okay, I need somebody who feels very, very strongly about the A interpretation to come on Skype, and I'm gonna ask you one question, okay? I need somebody that feels very strongly about the A interpretation to come on Skype so I can ask them a question. All right, Dunebug, you feel very strongly about A? Dunebug, get on TeamSpeak. Dunebug, you feel very strongly about A? Get on TeamSpeak. Okay, Dunebug, you feel very strongly about A, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, it's A.
Here is my question to you, okay? First of all, tell me why you feel strongly about A.
Okay, so I linked an image in chat to try and explain why.
Okay, so your basic, your basic thing does it, tell me if I'm trying to state your argument very precisely. Your thing is that the cube has no momentum, therefore it should be A, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
But, so, the reason I think that is because the way portals appear to work and the way portals would, you'd assume the only way they could work is that they just transfer mass. Or they just transfer whatever it is through like a window.
Okay, so here's my question. How does the orange portal know that it is moving towards the cube and the cube is not moving towards it?
It doesn't. But the box does.
But the orange portal is the one transferring the information. So when the orange portal sees, because all the orange portal sees is the cube moving towards it at however fast it's moving towards the cube. So when the orange portal communicates with the blue portal, you know, and tells it however the cube is going through, how does the orange portal know that it is moving towards the cube and the cube isn't moving towards it?
That'd assume that the portal works via the, like, information being passed along.
Right?
Yeah, okay, I guess it just depends.
Right, so what I'm saying is, actually, if you take any basic physics and you, like, assume that these rules apply here, A can actually never be the answer. Like, not even possible. It can't be. Because insofar as the orange portal, all the orange portal knows is that that cube is coming towards it at whatever velocity or whatever speed the orange thing is moving. It doesn't know what's moving. It just knows that the cube is coming into the portal at whatever. It doesn't matter if the portal is moving or the cube is moving or something is moving it into that. All the orange portal knows is that that cube is entering the portal at X speed. So it's going to exit the portal at X speed. It doesn't know if it's moving.
The portal doesn't know it's moving.
Yeah, but it can't. The portal, right? It doesn't matter, right?
Well, if it knows something else is moving into it, how does it know
But how
something
can
else is moving?
All the portal knows, the portal is only transferring information to portal B. All the
But now
portal
you're
knows.
assuming something.
I'm not assuming anything.
You are.
What am I assuming?
So, say if this is like a computer program and it's electronics that are passing these things, the portal from
Sure.
one spot
Sure.
to another,
Okay.
then I'm sure the computer would be able to take in
Nope.
what momentum
Let me.
of the portal.
Well, now you're talking a much more complicated computer program. The computer program that you're talking about. Let's say that you have a computer program and all it can do is detect. Oh, actually, you can do this yourself. Let's say you can take a scale out of your bathroom, right? And you could stand on that scale, right? And it'll tell you your weight. Or you could hold the scale in your head and pull it down as hard as you can, and it'll tell you a weight. But it has no way of knowing if you're standing on it or if you're holding it above your head and pulling it down onto you. It can't possibly know that answer, right?
Sure, it's a simple scale.
Yeah, because all it can do is tell you at that point of contact what the force applied to it or whatever, right? That's it. So in this scenario, when the portal comes down, all the portal can possibly know is the cube is entering it at X speed. It doesn't know if it's moving towards the cube or the cube is moving towards it. It just knows that the cube is entering it because there's no way for the because it's not how a frame of reference works. You can't possibly know without something more, without like a detector that tells you that like, hey, I'm moving at this speed, right? You can't possibly know that, right? Like imagine for your head, if somebody punched you with their fist going 50 miles an hour, or you put your head into them at 50 miles an hour, the only way you can possibly know that, you can't tell by the impact, you only know that because of other things going on in your head, right?
Sure. So the reason I think the way I do about this is because the way portals often appear, or almost always, maybe always actually, is that they're just like a doorway. And it consumes momentum, or it conserves momentum, because the doorway is like, it just simply passes things through it. It'd be like, say if you have a window, you can see through the window, but generally when you reach to a normal window, you're not going into a different space.
Okay,
Sorry.
let me put it this way. Let's say these
It's kinda
two
like a
things.
window
Let's say
into
these
another
two. Let's say that
dimension
these
kind of
two things are floating in space. Okay. If you stick a camera on one of these platforms and then stick a camera on another platform, and these two things are floating in space, you have no idea which one is quote unquote actually moving, right? It just depends on your frame of reference. Do you agree with that? Do you think it? Let me put it this way. Let's say that you had platform A and then that the cube is on, and platform B that the portal is on, and you have those floating in space, and then one moves towards the other with some momentum, and you have one camera on each object. Is it possible for you to tell which one is moving? And how would you
So just
tell?
float in space? Probably not. No.
Exactly, you can't because of the frame of reference, right? So in this thing right here, when all the orange portal knows is what's coming into it at what speed, right? There's no way for the orange portal to know that I'm moving towards it, so I need to have it come through slowly, versus just, well, it's entering me at X
wait,
speed.
no, a gyroscope could tell you that.
But this isn't a gyroscope.
Sure.
We don't have a gyroscope. We're just going by what we're observing, right? If this was a portal with some kind of gyroscopic device attached to it, then that would be a different question, right?
Sure. But I'm assuming that we're not assuming that this is just in space.
It doesn't matter if it's in
Flux.
space or not, though. All I'm saying, okay, here, let me go back to my original question. How does the orange portal know at the moment of impact? How does the orange portal know that it's the one moving and not the cube? Like, tell me how it can determine that it's moving and the block is not moving.
Well, see, this is where the idea comes in that it doesn't really need to know because it's just a door.
Why doesn't it need to know?
Because it's just a door. Or a window even, or an open window.
Okay,
when you
so
look out your
what? So
window,
then
you
what
see-
is? So then what information is being transferred back to B? Or I'm sorry, not B or A. What information is the orange portal sending to the blue portal? What information is it sending?
Nothing, it's just a door.
Well, no, it has to send for the object to move through it. It has to send some sort of information, right?
How much of the object has moved through it?
Exactly. How much of the object is moving through it and at what speed. But it doesn't know if it's moving or if the object is moving. You can go outside and take a window in real life and you could put your hand through it at X speed and it'll come out the other side with everything conserved, right? But you could also take that window off and move it through your hand the same way. But the window itself doesn't know if it's being moved or if the hand is moving through it. It has no possible way of telling it. It just can't know. Right? The only possible things that can move through this portal are the mass and speed of an object. That's it. But the portal doesn't know if the thing is moving faster because it's moving towards it or because the object is moving towards the window, right? All it can do is just say like, hey, this object just came through at this speed and then spit it out the other side at the same speed.
So with the way I'm thinking about it, at least, I don't think the door actually, or the window needs to know. So all it's actually doing is passing things through. So if you think of a real window, you can put your hand through it, and your hand will just go through it, right?
Sure.
But instead of going out just outside your house, when you put your hand through the window, you'd be going just outside the other portal. So it wouldn't really matter what speed you were going through it, because the object that's going through it knows.
But the object going through it, that's not. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if I can think of a different analogy. 1 second.
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
This is retarded. You are talking about two different kind of portals. One where you destroy on one end and recreate at the other. One where the portal is a shortcut in space.
Okay, I need somebody that has like because there's so many people saying things that I know is wrong, like just factually incorrect. Is there anybody that has like a bachelor's in physics or whatever that wants to come on and fucking talk about this? I'm like 99% sure that I'm correct. But I need somebody that like actually really knows this shit to come out and talk about it. I'm not sure if physicists could answer this without actually having studied teleporters. No. I think this is just a frame of reference question, and I think that people are getting really, really hung up because it's not an intuitive concept. Like I understand how people are. Hold on.
The window doesn't even interact with the object. That's why isn't a good comparison.
Doesn't matter. So this is what people are thinking. People are thinking that if this portal moves towards this ball, the ball's not moving, so if the portal goes through at 90 miles per hour, the ball's just going to plop out on the other end because the portal's not moving. But that's because people aren't aware that you don't know if these two objects move in this manner, you don't know which one is moving. It's not possible for this thing to know. It can't know. Like, there's no way that if you measure the impact, if this was a solid surface and it smacked into this thing and you measured the impact on this, there is no possible way that you could ever know which object was moving. You can't. There's no way to know. So if instead of this being a flat object, if it was a portal and these things collide at whatever speed, it doesn't really matter which one is moving. It has no bearing on it whatsoever. It's going to fly out the other end, assuming all the physics laws are conserved. It's going to fly out at the end at whatever speed the portal was moving towards it. There's no possible way that this thing here can possibly know how fast this is, if this is moving or if this is moving. Is what I'm trying to say. But B isn't conserving energy. It would, well, I'm assuming it would be. Why wouldn't we assume that it would be? We're assuming a portal is a hard link in space. It doesn't matter if the portal is a hard link in space. It doesn't matter. Okay, Shatari, unmute your microphone.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, am I completely wrong about the frame of reference thing?
No, I think your interpretation is completely right based on like what they tell you in the game. They say speedy things.
No. I don't even care. I don't even care about the game. Just in terms of this ever being a possibility, right? That if that the earlier explanation is with the camera on each object, if one was moving or the other was moving, there's no possible way you could ever possibly ever know that thing. Much the same way that if the ball were to enter the portal, when transferring the information to the other end, which is what's happening. I don't know why some people are saying that's not happening, but it is. It's transferring the information for it to come out the other end. There's no possible way that the portal can know that it's moving or the ball is moving. Is that factually correct? That there's no possible way that it could know what's moving without some other device attached to it?
From the frame of reference of the portal or the cube, neither of them know which one's moving. And
you would need an independent observer to be able to.
Yeah, you need a reference, like you need a point of reference to know what's moving.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Can you get more physics friends or somebody else on here? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try to pull in people that disagree with me, and you have to argue with them. Okay? What year are you?
Okay. Second.
Second. Are you even taking physics classes yet?
Sorry, you cut out then. What?
Are you taking physics classes yet?
In British University, you just study physics for the whole 4 years.
Okay. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can pull passionate A. Okay, Dunebug, go argue. You were an A person.
Well, yeah, it acts like a window.
It doesn't, but it doesn't matter if it acts like a window. Like, all I'm saying is that if you pretend that it's transferring like a USB, like if it's transferring data, right? If the portal A, you agree that it's transferring information, right? That it's the portal is transferring information. Do you agree with that? Or do you not agree with that?
I guess.
I mean, I've walked through a lot of windows in my life, and I've never been fucking teleported through time and space.
Okay,
it's clearly not a fucking window.
Well, but in some ways it kind of sort of is. But what I'm saying is that, so we know that information is going from A to B, okay? But all I'm saying is that the only thing that point A can measure is the object moving through it. But it doesn't know if it's being moved towards the object or if the object is being moved towards it. All it can actually measure is that object and the speed of that object entering it. That's it. It doesn't know what's being moved. It can't possibly know. So when it comes out on the end of B, there's no possible way that B could subtract some of the speed. Like, oh, well, A was moving, because B can't possibly know that, right?
So, if you do think of it as the door frame of the window, then if you drop a door frame onto someone, they're just going to be on the other side of the door frame.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
But then the bottom, you'll still be standing on the same spot because your feet are through the portal. So you'll still be standing on the same ground, which is why. But then because you're now on a slanted surface because you've gone through the door frame, you'll have a different effect of gravity on you. So you'll just slide down.
Okay, but I feel like
that's where I get the idea from A.
I feel like we're talking about different things, though. I mean, in B, it's not going to come straight out, right? It's going to arc because gravity is going to be affecting it. It's not just going to keep going that way into perpetuity.
Well, yeah, sure.
Right, but we're talking like what it's like instantaneously, right? We don't really care about what happens afterwards.
I think both of them are correct depending on the velocity of the platform that the orange portal is on. If it goes through,
makes a difference.
I think it does. If it goes through really slowly.
The whole point we're making is that the velocity of the platform and of the piston are irrelevant because it's all about the relative speed of approach of the portal compared to the cube.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. So if the relative speed is really, really low, then all that's really going to happen is going to be scenario A, where gravity is strong enough to take over.
Right,
but what I'm saying is the relative speed.
Semantics, right?
If the speed of the cube is 100 miles per hour, and then you were to run that experiment, and then the speed of the portal was 100 miles per hour, and the cube was stationary, you run that the result will be the exact same of both of those. Is what I'm saying.
And then you could use that argument to say that the whole dropping a door on someone and them fucking flying into the air is retarded. Because then consider the other situation. If you're on a piston and then it slams into a ceiling with a hole in it, then you're going to go flying out. So it's completely fucking logically inconsistent to make the comparison with the door falling on someone.
Well, but the door frame argument, I think, it does hold true. It's just we have to think of it. We have to think of it like on scales that aren't realistic. If the door frame is like incredibly fucking heavy, and it drops around you and hits the surface, the force of the resounding, I'll call it shock, but I can't think of the real word, would actually cause you to jump. Like it would push you up off the ground.
Well, yeah, but then we're talking about a different thing. Then that's like a completely different phenomenon.
I don't think it is though, because when this orange portal comes down, the two platforms, the platform with the orange portal and the platform on the cube, are going to collide. That's going to cause a shock that's going to cause the cube to jump.
But
that's not what's causing the cube to jump,
The point we're making here is that that's not what's making the cube jump. What's making the cube jump is that it has relative speed before it enters the portal. And then by the rules of the game, speedy thing goes in, speedy thing comes out. If it's got speed relative to the portal when it goes in, it's going to have the same speed relative to the portal when it comes out. Does that make sense?
I think the bullshit patrol actually has it there.
Then tell the bullshit patrol to get in a team speak.
I want to argue point A, but I want to get yelled at. Can we do it calmly?
No.
Shit.
I think both can work in that case.
Like,
I think it's an argument
yeah.
of what kind of portal it is. If you're,
Yeah,
it's colored.
But no, I don't even agree with that.
Are we still on the?
Can I
No,
have
no, no,
30 seconds?
Okay, yeah, go. You're wrong, but go.
Okay.
If you
Alright,
say the
so-
color of the portal, I'm gonna
So no,
fucking
I want
kill
to say
you.
it's color coded in a way that we're assuming these portals behave in the manners of like the game, right? Like the portal. In the game, it's not like it's measuring the force of impact, where like then you'd be right that the cube has some sort of momentum, but in the game, it's like if you have a hula hoop, right? And instead of the ball coming out of the other side of the hula hoop, it comes across on the like other side of the room. But it's not measuring like the impact of the cube, because the cube's not gonna have any momentum unless you're measuring
Okay,
for
wait.
those forces, right?
This is a misconception a lot of people have got in chat as well. That momentum is somehow like intrinsic to something.
like an object, yeah, but that's not true.
Momentum depends on who's measuring the momentum of the object. If you're moving 50 miles an hour away from the object, it has momentum.
Hashtag relativity.
It all depends on what you're taking as the rest frame.
Yeah, I feel like because frame
in the lab, the cube has no momentum, but from the frame of reference of the portal, it's got the momentum of it moving towards it at like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, I feel like the frame of reference stuff is not very intuitive, so people like get that completely wrong. Like if somebody punches you in the face, like according to your hand, right? What your fist sees is a head hitting it at 50 miles an hour or whatever, right? It can't. Your hand alone can't possibly know, did it just punch a face or did the face hit it at the equal thing? Like you can't possibly know the difference between those two things. You have to have outside observers tell you those things, right?
Yeah.
On another note, if you're moving things between two portals, does the distance between the two portals matter at all?
No, what? No, that's completely irrelevant right now. We're not talking about...
But they're moving relative to the portals.
Wouldn't the portal though
Okay,
have
so if
to...
you want to talk about this in like a proper physics context, then it's completely bullshit, because momentum depends on direction as well. Momentum is a vector, and so in the image, then it's clearly changing the direction it's moving. So the whole conservation momentum argument is fucking retarded. It doesn't apply at all. This isn't a physics question.
Yeah.
Again, that depends on how the...
Oh, this is actually a really good example right here. If you're jerking off relative to the portal, the dick goes in fast from one side and comes out fast the other side. Whether you move your hand around your dick or pelvic thrust into your hand, it makes no difference. Right? That's true. No, that's true. That's a good...
Yeah, it's perfect. It's the analogy I'd use in a classroom.
Oh, fuck. I should have clicked this video earlier. This video has a lot of four different frames of reference on what's going on with the,
This is really retarded. Both A and B are correct, depending on how the portal works. If the orange portal was just a hole the cube would not move to if portals are shortcuts in space.
Wouldn't the portal have
A
to
is
destroy
true
the
if
object
portals
before recreating the
preserve
object, or
relative
am I confusing a
velocity.
portal
B
with
is
a
true.
You're confusing them.
Okay.
Somebody had mentioned that earlier, where they were like, "Oh, well, I mean, portals are, you can apply the concepts of a portal to teleportation." And I was like, "No, not really. They're two completely different concepts."
Yeah, because teleportation is bringing it to a whole new place.
Teleportation is you're assuming you're
is like
destroying
a
and creating matter. It's something different than yeah.
The way I like to think of it is teleportation is just data, but portals preserve metadata as well.
Ooh,
Wow.
yeah, that's good.
This video is actually really fucking good. Holy shit.
Yeah, this gives you all the different frames of reference so you can see what's going on.
Hang on, let me think about this. The thing that makes me like this video is that all the answers are consistent, right? Like,
Well, yeah,
from a
as they should be.
stationary observer,
But that's how you
see
know the
all
physics
same
works,
thing.
is because
Yeah,
everything is consistent through every single frame of reference, right? Yeah. Like, I don't understand people that think that the thing would fly in and then just come plopping out. Like, I feel like you're losing energy there. Like, energy is just being lost to nothing, to actual nothingness. Like, it's being destroyed at that point.
I mean, the problem with that is then you're having like a semantic
No,
argument
'cause then
about
the
where the
energy
energy goes.
transfers-
Because like you can say the piston impacts the area around the portal.
Well, but that's not relevant. That's not really what we're...
That,
That's
right.
not...
See, like, that's the argument I was making to
it does.
Agadam. Yeah, like in the actual scenario that it shows, like all the force would be transferred into the piston, and there's no actual force being input, like put onto the block. Like it would just have gravity forced onto it once it goes through the portal. But
isn't the
like,
concept of a portal though just folding time and space so that you can get from point A to point B faster?
Yes.
So then you shouldn't ever lose velocity ever.
Well, like the fact
Slinky,
that I'm
were
saying
we
is,
arguing about whether or not the
yeah, basically
the cube would rest on the current surface that it is?
Yes. Which is what Agam originally came in here to say, is like the speed of it actually matters. Like,
But then if it is just a window through time and space, then it wouldn't matter how fast the window is moving.
Have you guys watched the video that Destiny just linked? I think the thing about you're saying about the window would make a lot more sense if you saw it, right?
no, I watched it and I still don't agree with it.
What part of it don't you agree with?
The actual scenario that the picture shows.
You don't think? Oh, right. You're
I
saying
think the
this isn't
entire.
the same
I don't
scenario.
think it's I don't think it's equal because of the effect of the portals involved. Like
how so? What do you mean?
So you used the example before that, like, let's say an actual piston with like a hole in it. This is the example I used to Aghanim. Let's say a piston with an actual hole in it is falling down on top of you, and you fit just inside the hole. Like, you wouldn't go flying off.
No matter how fast the piston was moving.
Yeah, no matter how fast it's moving, that most you'd bounce. Like,
instead of thinking of it as a portal, think of it as a hula hoop. But for all intents and purposes, it's the same shit, right? You don't really care if this thing's like coming out the other side.
Okay, wait. I think the reason why you're getting so hung up on this, if a piston comes down on you or whatever, is because you have a similar force. You've got gravity acting on you in both scenarios that's pulling you down afterwards. So I think I don't think that analogy holds true, because
hula hoop one?
Oh.
No, with the piston coming down on you.
Got a way to explain
wait, what do you mean?
No, even
I've
the
just
physics
thought of it.
works.
I don't think.
Okay, so.
I don't think the two scenarios are equal, so I don't think the physics like applies to this. Like, that you guys are
I have a way of explaining why it's definitely A. Wait a minute. So, if the piston pushes down, say if this is the human, and they're standing on there instead of the block. Okay, so the piston pushes down on you, but it stops halfway down onto where your hips are. Would it then rip you in half?
No, nothing would happen.
Because of the momentum. No,
that's
because
what
the momentum would carry on pushing.
No.
This is the example of B where it'd rip you in half.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to say, which I don't agree with at all.
No, I've never said it would rip you in half. That's fucking
well, no,
retarded.
You're saying that the force of momentum would carry on because it's all like it would be equal, right?
Because the piston is pushing it down and stopping.
We're not looking. No, stop. Let's say that we were doing the same piston thing, okay? We're not looking at gravity in this scenario. If we were to analyze gravity here and you were to look at this video and then all of a sudden the thing were to stop halfway through, then the cube would just like lift up a little bit and then fall down. That's all that would happen. That's all that would happen. But we're assuming that it's being pushed all the way through. But if it stops halfway,
it hasn't been acted on.
What?
The other half of your body hasn't been acted on in your example.
What are you talking about?
No, but like your body is all one
halfway
system.
down you.
If gravity is acting on the lower half of your body, then tension in your body is going to decelerate the top half of your body after it's gone through the portal. So you're going to like go up or stretch a little bit, but then you're just going to come back down under the effect of gravity on the other side.
No. What do you mean nothing would happen?
I don't agree with your like entire thing. Like, I don't think any momentum is going to be transferred at all. Like, the forces.
Hold on, no. Listen, if you. Here, look at this. Look at this fucking video, okay? And look at the second.
I looked at the video.
Look at the second frame, okay? If that
I don't
thing.
agree with that video.
What do you think is wrong about the video?
The whole like the initial scenario, like with the picture, I don't think any force would transfer. Like,
Someone should post on Ask Science or Ask Science and get like an actual physics.
because the exact scenario I said, like.
No, this video's a different example.
Yeah, it is also a different example.
This is
because it's the wrong piston moving.
No, that's the whole point. No, that's the whole point.
Not simply hand-waving words, so you cannot reason how well-defined relationships such as conversation of momentum.
In the other example,
No. Stop. You're done. You're actually done.
So this is the
whole point. The whole point of this is that it's impossible to know what's moving. The example that you're looking for is in the first thing, the portal is coming down onto the green block, but that's only depending on your frame of reference. If you're looking at it from the point of the from like an outside observer looking at it. Like, it all depends.
The major thing I'm saying is, like, you can measure what forces are actually being acted on by the block in, like, all scenarios.
Here's the analogy I want to run. Imagine if you have a floating basketball.
Wait. No. Wait. What he just said was totally wrong. What he just said was totally wrong.
Sorry, I see what I meant. No, sorry.
Like even like with
No, you don't know. You never know. You never
observation.
ever know where you are. Period. You have to have an external frame of
right, but
reference.
wrong.
You have to have an external frame of reference. You can't know yourself, like whether you're moving towards something or something. Like that's impossible for you to know.
Let's just look at the two examples. Okay, what force is acting on the one with the piston going down?
Okay, first of
In
all,
respect
there's
to
no
what?
force- Wait. There's no force acting in this entire fucking hypothetical. Nothing is accelerating. There's no force being applied.
The piston is moving though, like that's momentum.
Yeah,
and
No, but
that's
you don't know
acceleration.
that.
You can
The thing
move
is,
at a constant speed without having a force applied.
But
this is fucking high school physics.
but also, yeah, and also you don't know that the piston is moving. You could be moving towards the piston. There's no possible way for you to know which one is moving. That's the whole point. Without an outside observer telling you. That's why I used my space example. If you were floating in space and another object was floating in space and one of you started drifting towards the other, you would have no idea which one is actually moving. It's impossible. From your frame of reference, the
moving because gravity.
No, fuck. Oh
Well,
my god.
what? No, what?
From your shut the fuck up. That's not relevant. I'm saying that if there was a force acting to move one of you, from your frame of reference, the other person would be moving towards you, and from his frame of reference. All right, dude. We're going. I'm just gonna do a short 5-minute mini stream here, and then we're gonna stream for real later. All right. Holy shit. Alright, I've seen a lot of stupid fucking shit posted between today and yesterday, so my patience is very thin. So if you say fucking anything fucking stupid, I'm gonna fucking explode, alright? Fair warning.
Hello, is my mic working?
Yep, it's working now.
I'll try not to say anything too stupid.
Okay, alright. What exactly are we arguing?
Okay, the first thing I wanted to say, the main reason that I was upset is that, when you're pulling in people talking about, like, wanting to bring gravity into the equation, and they don't understand, like, that there's no objective frame of reference and things like that, and they're trying to bring back into that. I think that that's, like, if you get into conversations like that, it's a waste of time as opposed to getting into, like, what the actual question of the question is.
Sure, but you realize that to the observer, I have to do that, because if I don't, then everybody thinks I'm just evading questions and I'm only circle jerking or whatever. I agree with you that whoever Bluetooth bringing up gravity, it would be like trying to show somebody how a lever works and then them saying, well, what about friction in the middle? Like, it has nothing to do with the concept whatsoever. So yeah, I agree with you that discussing external forces is a fucking waste of time. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Okay, sorry, the main thing I wanted to say as far as this goes is that when you're talking about a portal, we can't be thinking of it as just a magical teleportation device. A portal and a teleportation device, we have to consider as two different things.
Of course, I totally agree with that. I don't think I was considering anything yesterday as a teleportation device because it was maintaining its momentum after coming through the portal. I don't think most people consider teleportation devices to do that.
Okay, and I think any portal which functions not as a teleportation device and works as like an actual portal, which would be theoretically it could exist. Well, I don't know if it could exist, but a theoretical portal, the two ends of the portal, the entrance and the exit, must be touching.
For all intents and purposes, there's no space between them. Yes, sure.
Yeah, right. And so therefore, if one moves, then the other one moves with it.
The portals?
Yeah, if the entrance of the portal moves, then the exit moves with it.
I don't think that logic necessarily follows, but if you want it to, then that's the solution for A. Sure.
Okay, the argument I'm making is that that is the only way that a portal could exist.
On what? How? Why?
Because otherwise, if you have like the entrance and the exit, like let's say a portal should be the exact same as a door in terms of like if you throw a ball through a door, it should function the exact same way physically. But if you move the entrance to a door 10 meters away, but you keep the exit to the door at the same place, then it won't function the same way.
Sure, I mean it's a portal, though, right?
Yeah, but a portal is nothing more than a hole.
Okay, we're getting into the definition of a portal. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think that if I don't know, there's so many fucking other things going on, but I mean, if a portal were to exist, I would imagine that both would this what you're describing is the solution that I gave for A, that the portals always have the same velocity, that if one moves, the other will necessarily move with it in the exact same speed and direction every single time. That was the solution for A that I gave, right?
Yeah, and I'm saying that it can't possibly be B because that thing of the two being tethered together and the two being attached, if it was anything other than that, then it would cease to be a portal. It would become a magical teleportation device.
I mean, it could still be a portal, just functioning in a different way. The reason why, do you know why I lean towards B as being the correct solution to that picture?
I think what you were saying is that, like I don't remember the exact word, but the ball was moving relative to the portal, and therefore it is moving.
Well, no. The reason why I lean towards B was because the illustration really pushes you into believing that the two portals have different velocities.
That's definitely true. When I saw the illustration, I saw like,
so
the way that...
if somebody were just asking me the question, what would happen if this, then I think that A, in terms of what little I understand about physics, that I think that A probably makes the most sense, that both portals would be necessarily connected to one another, tethered to one another in such a way that they always share the same velocity. So something going in one will come out the other the same way every single time. And that having one portal that you could swing around and move wildly while the other portal remains stationary would be very bizarre. But because the illustration is set up in such a way it's kind of hard to believe in the former, so you're kind of forced to deal with the repercussions of the latter, is essentially what I was getting into. That B is the probable correct solution for the picture. A would probably make more sense, though, and I understand an argument for A, but for that particular illustration, you can't really think that A is the solution, unless you think that portal, that the A portal is also moving and it's just not being illustrated as such.
Yeah, I would say that the way it's being illustrated is flawed, but I think that the thing is, first of all, like the way this it has like the little condescending plop at the end there, implying that once it goes, the gravity comes in, whatever.
Well, not even is the plop condescending. The plop is actually incredibly misleading because then it implies that gravity is here, and then it throws some people off into arguing about things that don't even. It really shouldn't plop. It should just be sitting out the end of the portal exactly, and right. But yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. But my main thing is, if you were actually moving a portal, you have to actually consider what you're moving, because what a portal is, I mean, this is getting a bit like weird into it, but a portal is a hole in space, and a hole isn't actually anything. So when you were moving the supposed entrance to the portal, what you were actually moving is space itself. You're moving the space around that hole. Like you can't move a hole. You have to.
Yeah, I kind of understand
what the hole is.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't disagree with you that if portals existed, moving one through space would be incredibly fucking bizarre. I don't disagree with that at all. But I'm just saying that by the illustration of the picture, you're kind of forced to accept that one portal can move while the other can't, so that you kind of have to work in that framework, right? I don't disagree that moving the portal is absolutely fucking bizarre, and that it leads to way more questions than it would answer. That just seemed to be the only way to solve the picture.
Okay, and then I would say one more thing, that the speed of the ball after it goes into the hole, it doesn't depend. If the speed of the entrance is independent from the speed of the exit, then then the speed of the ball after it exits is independent of the speed that it entered. It depends on how the portal is moving afterwards, especially if that initial portal stops. Hold on, hang on, I might have misspoke when I said that.
Sure.
Okay, if that supposed portal is, as you said, moving towards the ball.
Sure.
That is the exact equivalent of throwing it into the portal.
Yes, I agree with that.
But, okay, if there was a person standing there, and that person saw the portal moving at the ball, and they were, okay, hang on. I'm getting a little bit confused, because I thought you were arguing B this whole time.
I'm saying that B is based on the picture. If I was forced to choose a solution, a life or death, given that picture, I would have to say B. But I 100% understand how you could explain A. Like, the explanation for A, with all 4 frames of references reconciled, is that both portals are tethered to one another and share the same velocity at all time. So when the orange portal is moving down at a quick velocity, it's moving down, or at a high speed, I should say, it's moving down, and it captures the cube. The blue portal is also moving down and captures, or is moving down in another frame of reference. It's moving down. Once the orange portal captures the cube at whatever speed it was, the cube will move through that blue portal at whatever speed it was captured. However, the blue portal is also moving at that same speed and will stop once it passes through the portal, leaving the cube floating there, right? So what you see from the cube's point of view is the orange portal comes down and absorbs it, and then it will be sitting on top of the blue portal. The orange portal moves down quickly to capture the cube and then stops, okay? And the blue portal is just somewhere moving through space quickly, and then once a cube comes out of it, it stops right after the cube comes out of it. And the cube came out of it at the same speed. It was moving, so they're floating together. That is all frames of reference reconciled with how the A solution would work, and that's assuming that both portals are tied together to one another.
Okay, I think I misunderstood what exactly your position is. Then I guess what I would say is that I would want to argue that the entrance and the exit are necessarily are necessarily together, and they must move together based on what we know about portals.
Well, I think and the only problem I have with that statement is that it gets like we're getting like metaphysical at that point. Like, what do we know about portals? I mean, like I said, I agree with you conceptually that makes way more sense, because it would be very bizarre to have 2 portals functioning in completely different ways. I agree with you, right? And if you go by, I want to say, isn't the idea for a portal like 3-dimensional space folded onto itself, which means that, you know, both portals can't possibly be moving in different directions or whatever? Yeah, I don't disagree with that. The only reason why I lean towards B is because of the illustration, period, not because of any other kind of concept or idea, right?
Oh, okay. I thought that you were saying it was B because of some kind of idea. But yeah,
no.
I just think the illustration was wrong then. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I don't disagree. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
And the other thing I would say is that I don't think that like saying it's like a completely theoretical thing. It's kind of like saying, like, something like like the square root of -1. That's like a theoretical concept that doesn't really exist, but you could still like kind of try and understand it. But it's different from like a teleportation device would be like a zillion.
Oh no, I totally 100 trillion quadrillion. You have no fucking idea how much I agree with you, okay? I absolutely agree with you. The only reason why I said that the teleporter is incredibly hypothetical is because shit like conservation of energy gets completely broken in every form of teleportation that I've ever read about. Like, even if a wormhole were to exist somewhere in the universe, the potential energies on every single type of energy on both ends of the wormhole would have to be exactly even. Otherwise, you're breaking all conservation of anything, right? That's like the weird part. So that's why I say that, like, I mean, how does a teleporter work? It's kind of, you know, it would, you know, it's how we can argue about it. But I mean, but regardless of that, I do agree that A probably makes more sense. Like, if portals existed, I guess, like, A would probably be the more reasonable assumption than B, that having one end of a doorway moving and the other not moving would be very, very, very fucking bizarre. But yeah, so I don't disagree with that.
Okay, I think I must have misunderstood what your actual position was then. And then, yeah, also the idea of a portal, not because having a portal without the little tunnel in between, like the wormhole part, where like if you stick your fingers in, they don't have to pass through the actual wormhole; they actually just directly go through. That's another problem in itself, but that's
sure.
That's a weird thing. Okay, I think that was my main complaint. Also, in the never mind. I'll just
no. What? No, go ahead. What?
No, I was about to bring up something in the 3350 thing also, but...
Go on. No, never mind. I'm not doing it. All right.
No, I was the guy at the end of that 3350 thing, too, who was saying the same thing, how, like, you kept arguing about conditional probability when the point of the problem wasn't the conditional probability, it was about the wording of the question. But then whatever.
I still think there was a correct answer for that one. I don't remember. What did I say the answer was at the end? It must have been 33, right?
It was correct with conditional probability.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's like the basic conditional probability question. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But the actual question wasn't about basic conditional probability.
Maybe. I think I'm pretty sure the correct answer was 33%, but some people were assigning more parameters to the problem, saying the first flip was always heads, which led them to the 50% answer, right? But I feel like the 33% answer is the most reasonable way to read into it. But again, the wording was pretty bad. I do agree.
Yeah, and I think the point of the question I was trying to argue was that the point was that the wording was bad, not the basic conditional probability. But whatever, that's fine. I know you don't want to argue that again.
All right. Okay, I love you, buddy.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, see you later. Dude, I haven't been up. all night. I haven't really, dude. I'm actually so triggered. I can't. Like, the more I talk about this, the more I just fucking hate people. Just everybody. I just hate everybody. I just hate every person that I ever talk to. I love the Destiny. I can't win, man. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. I love it how when I have a point of view, and I try to argue, people are like, Destiny, it's either I don't pull anyone on, and people are like, Destiny will never talk to anybody who disagrees with me, just a circuit jerkers on. And then I do pull people on, Destiny only pulls the idiots out of chat. What do you think, what does it say about your point of view if every single person I pull on to talk to about it sounds like an idiot? Don't you think that that might have something more to do with your particular point of view than the fact that I'm just happening to pull on idiot after idiot after idiot? You don't think that's possible? Like, if anybody disagrees with me and you consider yourself to be a very intelligent person, go ahead and jump on. Like, I'm not, it's not like, do you think I have like a special, do you think I have a screener who fucking gives these people Mensa tests before they come on? And if they score like the 50 to 60 IQ range, they're qualified to come on and have a discussion with me? Like, are you fucking serious? The fact that people are acting like this is some high-level fucking physics problem is fucking disgusting. How fucking stupid do you have to be to think that understanding a frame of reference is some insanely exotic concept that there's no possible way that the layman could grasp it? Holy shit. People are still saying this. The portal is moving, not the cube. And therefore it is comparable hanging the cube in the air by a string and lowering a wall. Why is this impossible to understand? That it doesn't matter? Why is it impossible to understand? Do you believe this? Can somebody here, how many people, I'm sorry, I just have to know. I just have to know for myself. How many people think that there's a difference between this moving at 5 meters per second versus this moving at 5 meters per second into one another if your only frame of reference is either of these two objects? How many people think that there's a difference between this being stationary and this being stationary while the other moves? How many people still think this? That there's a difference? Who the fuck cares at this point? Because it's not hard to understand. I don't understand how people still think there's a difference. It doesn't matter if the cube is moving or the portal's moving. It doesn't matter. What the fuck are you asking? Where's the original picture? In this picture, it doesn't matter if the cube is moving or the portal is moving. It doesn't matter. How is this so difficult to understand? If you're sitting on Portal Orange, you have no possible way of knowing what's moving. Holy shit. I know what the problem is, though. I understand what the problem is. I know what the problem is. Does anyone else know what the problem is? The problem is that people think that there is a God mode frame of reference. That's the problem. And there's no way to convince anyone otherwise because you're always on Earth and you always have that inertial frame of reference. You'll never think that there isn't a God mode. There isn't a God mode frame of reference. That's the problem. Is that people are incapable of realizing that they have a biased frame of reference when they're observing something. I think that's the problem. I'm done. We're done with this. I'm really done with this. We're not going to talk about this all day today. I can't believe that people are still saying it, though. I can't believe it. The portal is moving, not the cube. I can't believe it. This thread had me so rustled. And my subreddit. What's funny is it's saying the portal is moving, not the cube, shows that they're only at step 1 of thinking about it. Yeah, because the picture isn't even asking you. It's not even a question about how does a frame of reference work. It's not even a question about that. Oh. What would happen if the portal would just be a ring for both scenarios? What do you mean if it's just a ring?
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
Portals themselves don't feel force. And they would have to in order to transfer energy to the block.
Oh, he said it! The portal is moving, not the cube. And therefore, it's comparable to hanging the cube in the air by a string. This is not true. It's all relatable to the frame of reference. From Blue Portal's frame of reference, the cube is moving towards it. Think about it if you were on Blue Portal's side. Yes, that's correct. Did I download? Whoops, you're correct. And then this guy corrects him. There is no frame of reference. This is a waste of time. I've already explained more than is required for you to understand. What the fuck? At this point, it's up for you to add up to 1 and 1 and make 2 because I've given you every single. How can he be so fucking arrogant when he thinks there's a difference? How? I'm taking it at the perspective of the cube being stationary because it is stationary in this scenario. Stationary relative to who? How is this so hard? Why is this so hard? I watched that whole video on frames of reference. Not really, I only got 20 minutes through it and then I already got triggered because people on... How? If you are on a moving cart, look, these questions have to be answered with respect to something else. If you're on a moving cart, I'll use the same example from the video. You are on a moving cart, okay? No, we're on a cart, okay? And we can use all sorts of examples. And there is a stick right here that's holding a ball up into the air, okay? Now, let's say that this ball drops straight to the ground, okay? You drop this ball, and the ball drops straight to the ground, okay? You release a lever, and the ball drops to the ground. Is it going to fall in a straight line? Yes. Yes, right? Yes, it will fall in a straight line. Now, let's say that this cart is moving at a constant velocity of 1 meter per second. Let's say that the cart is moving at a constant velocity of 1 meter per second, moving to the right, and you click this button to drop the ball. Will the ball still drop in a straight line? What's the answer, chat? Will the ball still drop in a straight line if the cart is moving at a constant velocity of 1 meter per second? Is the cart still moving? Okay. Look, 3 right answers in a row. Relative to what? Depends on the frame of reference. It depends on the reference. Yes, those 3 people in chat. Don't be jealous. Spiders94, Squidbilly. Yes, that is correct. Does it drop straight down in what frame of reference? In the frame of reference of the cart that is constantly moving, it will still drop in a straight line. If you place a camera on the cart is moving at a constant velocity, and the ball drops from the cart, it will go straight down relative to the cart. Yes. If you are a neutral observer, however, the ball's dropping pattern would be parabolic. It would look like this. The ball drop pattern would look like this. Why? Because the cart is moving, the ball would begin to drop, and then the ball would follow a parabolic shape, right, as it approaches the ground. So relative to your God mode, relative to if your inertial frame of reference is the planet Earth and you were watching a cart move by, then yes, then it would have a parabolic shape, right? Or like half of a parabola or whatever, right? But if you were stationary on the cart and you were watching it, then it would drop in a straight line, right? The frame of reference is really fucking important because it's the only you have to have a frame of reference to answer the question, right? I'm taking it at the perspective of the cube being stationary because it is stationary in the scenario. Stationary to who? Physicist. This guy is making these posts. There is no other answer or suppositions to be made. It is established that the cube is immobile upon entry. If you've got anything else to say, you should probably take it up with a certified expert in physics who will tell you the same thing I'm telling you. Fuck, I hope this guy fucking kills himself. Unfucking believable. Because it doesn't need to move to get out of the blue portal. The orange portal, I'm fucking downvoting every fucking thing this guy has ever fucking done on Reddit. Fuck this fucking cuck piece of shit. I hope this dude sees all his downvotes and fucking kills himself. Holy fucking shit. I actually can't even believe this fucking cuck bullshit. I actually can't even fucking believe this shit. Oh my fucking god. Because it doesn't need to move to get out of the blue portal. The orange portal engulfs it completely. Have you ever fucking played Portal? If I take a huge sheet of paper, make a hole in it, and drop it around you from top to bottom, do you need to move in order to end up on the other side of the paper sheet? No, because the sheet is doing it for you. That's how portals work. I mean, Jesus Christ. Get a clue.
Stationary in reference to the orange portal. The orange portal is moving, the cube is no. There is no implication that the cube has any force on it at all. If not, it would have measurements to let you know that.
I know you're trolling, Tex. I mean, Jesus Christ. Get a clue. The portal is on the Smasher. The Smasher goes down and completely engulfs the cube. Whatever is engulfed by the portal immediately comes out of the blue portal because there's no in-between space. Read the first post again and keep rereading it until you get it through your thick head. If you still don't get it, then you're too far gone. Sorry, mate. Holy fucking shit. unfucking believable. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. The only way the answer could be B is if the bottom portal slammed upwards into the orange portal, giving velocity to the cube. But in this case, cube has no velocity. Okay, in the frame of reference of the orange portal, that is exactly what is happening. The cube will enter the portal with a velocity relative to the... This is correct! It is not even complicated. But he got downvoted. Why did he get downvoted? Why did he get downvoted? Why would he get downvoted? Why? Why? I hate this. I hate people that do this. Oh my god, I hate everybody, dude. Oh no. Oh wow, all those upvotes from the dick riders fucking jumping on my, because I'm commenting on stream. This guy, I hope this guy actually kills himself. I hope this guy actually kills himself. I don't actually hope he kills himself. Destiny consistently fails to grasp the true nature of these types of problems because they make for fun streams and pander to his ability to out-talk almost anyone who disagrees with him. These problems are interesting because they show that without agreement on underlying assumptions, two totally different outcomes are reasonable. And the portal problem, both interpretations are equally correct given the limited nature of our experience with portals in the game. Destiny's view, portals measure relative velocity of objects with themselves and project the object out at the velocity. Alternative view, an object's velocity is determined in the frame of reference of the room. This is fucking retarded. Perhaps by some other measuring device. Because you cannot devise an experiment in the game to determine which interpretation is correct, both interpretations are equally valid. The 50% crit problem is the same problem in essence. Both outcomes are equally valid because we don't know when the at least one crit measurement was taken. See the boy-girl paradox. Maybe Destiny does realize that's what these problems are getting at and just likes to argue on stream. Regardless, I hope this post helps put to rest most of the debate and gives perspective on similarly futile problems that are bound to come up in future streams. Literally, the worst person in any debate about anything ever in the history of all debates is that one fucking ignorant fucking cuck that enters the debate and goes, well, since this one rule is broken, we can break every single rule, and that makes every single interpretation equally valid. Every single person knows this guy, and you don't even know it. You don't even realize that you know this guy. You don't even realize it. Let me tell you who this guy is, okay? This is the guy who says, why, well, you're arguing about Luke making the torpedo shot in Star Wars, and the guy says, why doesn't Luke just use the Force to blow up the Death Star? And then you go, well, dude, I mean, you can't just use the Force to blow up the Death Star. And the guy says, dude, they use the Force to levitate shit and, like, pick ships up. I mean, the Force should be able to just do anything. I mean, since it's already breaking the law of physics there, I mean, it can just do whatever, right? He's that guy in your arguments, okay? He's the guy, when you're having an argument about whether or not something makes sense in Lord of the Rings, in the movie, he's the guy that says, dude, elves and fucking golems and whatever are already real. So obviously, if, you know, Harry Potter showed up in an Iron Man suit, it doesn't matter, dude. I mean, we've already got fucking elves. He's that guy, okay, in all of your arguments, all right? So this idea that just because one rule is broken, now you can throw everything out the window, that is fucking retarded, okay? You can have internal rigid consistency in worlds where one or two, you know, well-understood rules of physics or one or two well-understood things just are broken, okay? That's fine. Okay, secondly, just because you can make some arguments for some interpretations of media doesn't make every single interpretation equally valid. That is so fucking stupid. That is mind-numbingly fucking stupid, okay? You can be reading any piece of literature, or you could be listening to any piece of music, or you could be enjoying film, right? And you can make a ton of different interpretations for what's going on, okay? However, the validity of your interpretation is tied to your ability to make objective statements sourcing that piece of media in order to defend your argument. Just because you're able to make some interpretation and defend it with one flimsy fucking piece of bullshit evidence doesn't mean that all of a sudden your interpretation is equally valid. That's fucking bullshit, okay? And nobody in any form of academia will agree with that. I will put my fucking life on it and the life of my family and everybody that that I know, okay? Literally, nobody would ever say that just because you can come up with one interpretation and defend it with one random piece of evidence, that all of a sudden your interpretation is equally valid and equally accepted as every other interpretation. The strength of your interpretation will always be measured by the objective arguments that you could put forth defending said interpretation. I fucking hate people that say shit like this. Fuck, it's so fucking obnoxious. Oh. Destiny has no concept of scientific humility. This fucking ignorant fucking autism, where you think that, and these people that think that like, oh, well, a real scientist thinks that all things are possible at all fucking points in time. Oh my fucking god, fuck you. Get fucking cucked, you fuckboy piece of shit. Oh my god, I'm done. Alright, I'm gonna go,
Hey, did you see Valve's take on this? Here's the paste bin. Wow.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna go get a hot chocolate, and then I'm gonna come back in an hour. And we're gonna play Overwatch, okay? We're going to, we're gonna go and, dude, where is Whoop Boop at? I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Hold on. I'm trying to get them to wipe Restopia. I wanna believe.
Did it go down yet?
No, dude, listen. Do you understand whether or not it's wiped depends on your frame of reference? I'm serious. I'm actually gonna kill myself. There's a 30-minute video. Have you ever seen those classical videos? I don't know why they stopped making these, but they're the classical videos. They're in black and white, and they explain mechanics. They're really, really, really good. They're so sick. I don't know if there was like some company that made these, if they were...
I think it was from one of the major universities, no?
This was from the University of Toronto, but they all look like this. Like this video, like it's the black and white, and it'll have like a professor explaining something with the... There's another one of these on, there's another, I don't know, there's another one of these videos on, I don't remember what it was on, but it was, it was explaining,
Doesn't MIT or Cornell or both have all of these things for free now on their website?
Maybe. Oh, no, this was put out by somebody totally different. This was in 1937. This was a really good one, too. It had to do with how differentials work in cars, right? Because when you steer, the outer wheel has to move faster than the inner wheel. And these videos are so sick. They're so old. But, like, there's, like, very easy-to-follow diagrams, and the guy makes the little things, and he spins them around, and they explain, like, anybody could watch any of these videos, and any person ever could watch this video, and then come out the other end of the video after only 10 minutes and completely understand, more or less, how a differential works. Like, the video just does... It's such a great explanation. And the, I was just curious. Yeah, and then also this 30-minute one on frames of reference or whatever, like, does a really great job. It's super basic. You don't need any...
Did you make them watch it?
No, I asked Hassan if we could watch it on stream, but he said we couldn't. But and it's like a 30-minute video. But like this video, it's just like the perfect job of explaining everything. And any single person could watch it. And I don't know, because nobody will want to watch it. I'm only curious because I've never seen a non-black and white version of these kinds of videos. Like, it seems like
There are, but they generally don't always release them.
Oh, maybe, sure.
So like my professors will have them, for example, but not.
Thanks, Hadri.
Aww. I have it. If we can figure out the share thing, we won't have to buy 2 copies of everything.
It seems like at some point in time, maybe I don't know if there's like a huge push for the layman to understand these concepts, so these videos are made in such a way that even complete laymen could understand it. But yeah, it's super sick. This video is really sick. If you haven't watched this video, I highly, 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 highly recommend watching it.
Did you solve the mysteries of the unsolvable baseball tangential off of a truck problem?
Oh my god. The craziest part about this video is actually the beginning. I have a really hard time believing that any professor in a classroom would do this instead of getting like a stunt double. Look at this guy, dude. He really does this? He's just hanging off the thing and then jumps down all on his own? No harness or anything? This is some dangerous fucking shit. With a pipe in his mouth the entire fucking time. Holy shit. Those old videos are to combat the commies when the USA and USSR were in the space/science races. Oh, maybe. 1969 was the moon landing, right? The launch of Sputnik made a lot of people in the US freak out about how shit our STEM education was, so there's this big push to increase knowledge of it. Wow. If you haven't watched, okay, listen, I'm gonna go AFK for 30 minutes because I need to get something to eat. You have to watch this video. It's so good. Like, the cool thing about this is how simple a differential works, but how incredibly powerful it is, right? Because this is a simple problem that the average person doesn't even is aware exists, right? That if you're steering your car in some direction, the outer wheel has to move faster than the inner wheel, right? But they're both connected to the same axle. So how do you figure it out? This video is so fucking sick. This is so sick.